So, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 45 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin, here live on his Twitch stream. What's going on, man?
It's draft week.
It is.
For most people, it's getting ready to be draft week. You already done yours.
Yeah.
You jumped the gun.
Look, man, I don't know what you expected. Obviously, my group was just like, yeah, let's get this done and over with. So we did.
Yeah. So there's a draft tonight, and then there's one early Sunday, which is Saturday night for us because it's the EU group.
Yep.
And then mine is Sunday afternoon. Whoever Green Lantern is, you got gifted a sub. Congratulations.
Sweet. Thank you for the fantastic support, man. As always.
Hype train. That was a
level 2 hype train.
Level 1 complete. Moving on to level 2. So I know a chunk of you are drafting today. I know there's a bunch of you drafting this weekend. So we figured we would talk about our previous drafts and things like that.
See, now Sweet has a little golden box by his name too.
Yeah, now he's the gift leader. Yes, technically, my group is the last draft group.
So, not going into too much detail about my draft, but my team's great. My team's busted.
From what I saw, your draft looks really, really good.
And honestly, all the teams look real good.
Which is good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it where there's nothing that looks overly dominant, and that's one of the reasons I really was a big advocate of doing this doing the tier list like this, is to make it where not everything is super busted, but everything is still good. Yeah. So as a result, we have 12 teams in my pod. All 12 teams look good. There's not one that I'm just like, all right, this is clearly the best team, this is by far the biggest target on their back. Obviously, I'm going to say mine is because it's me, but
yeah. Without
going into too much detail, I think this went super well.
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't done my draft yet, so I have no idea. But I pride my fact that I'm actually a very good drafter. I usually draft very strong teams or very balanced teams. I just don't play them very well.
See, I feel like I'm in the complete opposite boat of, I don't know what I'm doing when I'm drafting, yet I somehow piece it together and make it work.
Yeah.
Definitely feel like going into this one, I went in with an okay idea of what I wanted to do, and I think it paid off. I kind of strayed away from my initial idea immediately, but that's because there was some stuff on the board that probably should not have been. Granted, I was drafting at 4, so the things that I considered top tier, I felt like were almost guaranteed to still be there. So as a result, it made sense to just pick them up.
Yeah. Which today's episode is going to be talking more about probably what you should probably be drafting and how to get the most out of your draft. I know a lot of people were sad that we said we weren't going to be doing snake draft this time around because that puts a lot of power on the ends.
It really does.
And leaves the middle kind of less to be desired.
And I was like I said, I was at 4. That's kind of near the beginning, but it's like the beginning of the middle is what I would kind of classify that as. It's like 4 through 8 is like that awkward position where you're not at the beginning to where you get quick back-to-back picks, but you're not towards the ends. You're right there in the middle. It's just like, I have to wait, yet I don't get immediate picks where stuff can still get sniped away from me. And honestly, I only had one pick that was sniped away from me, and I was so mad about it.
I'm picking 5th in my group.
That's not bad.
Which I was expecting a later pick because I had different ideas. Just like if I didn't get a good restricted, I had a plan for that, and I was planning around that. Because it kind of just feels bad to plan around a restricted mon and then not be able to get the restricted mon. So it's like if I was planning for a later spot, that's would be fine. But I didn't expect to be 5th, meaning I probably will have a decent pick at a restricted mon. So I probably should pick one of those first.
So, let's just jump in. My immediate draft strategy going in was ignore the restricted mons. All of these are busted. There's plenty of them left. You're going to be able to get a good one.
Yeah,
I think that, and there was a couple of people who had that strategy last night, and like I said, the restricted mons they had that went late are still just good. Like things like, obvious to your list here, you have like Zacian, and then the Calyrex forms, and then like Yveltal, and you have and then you get stuff like Kyogre and Groudon. So there's all kinds of super powerful restricted mons. But then you have like Necrozmas. Those are all fine.
Yep.
You have the Curums. Those are all fine. I've named off like 12 already. And that's before we get to Xerneas and Solgaleo and like Giratina, Dialga. There are so many good ones that you aren't forced to immediately take one. Just because this is a restricted format doesn't mean, okay, this needs to be the best thing on my team. Because there are plenty of good mons on the board.
Like, so this is the design was in mind of just like, okay, if we end up having 20 player groups, that leaves a minimum 9 left at the very end for that last player. I want to make sure that there's still a good option for a restricted mod for that last player, even if they're having to draft at the very end. Which, when you only have 12, that's less than half of the total restricted ones on our tier list.
Exactly.
There is so much power here, just in the top 10 or 12 restricted, that every team's going to have a decent restricted mod. So now it comes down to, if your restricted mod's gone on the first round, you can pick one of the better G-Maxes or one of the better S tiers or things like that, because you only get one of these, so getting the best one needed for your strategy is going to be good. I like not picking anything crazy. Like there's I have 5 or 6 restricteds that if I can get one of them, I'll be happy. If I don't, if I can wait to get them in round 2 or 3, I'll be even happier, because I would rather get a strong G-Max and a strong S tier before I actually pick my restricted and lock myself into some kind of strategy.
So, like I said, I picked at 4. Before me, in no particular order, there were 2 G-Maxes and a restricted taken. I think that is very reasonable. Not going into specifics, because I don't want to share information about who has what yet. But yeah, there were... When I saw the G-Maxes go before the restricteds, my first thought is, yeah, that makes a complete sense.
Yeah.
Because specifically the G-Maxes, the power level difference between a good G-Max and an okay G-Max is huge. And then if you get to the bottom of the barrel, it's that difference between okay and bad is even more drastic.
Yeah, looking at G-Max tier here, the G-Max Charizard Venusaur are going to be much better than your Appleton, or your Eevee, or your Flapple, or Garbodor. Which, fun fact, I ran into G-Max Garbodor on ladder today. Had no idea what it was doing. So that was funny.
Trust me, man, I have tried to make Eevee good. I have tried playing it.
G-Max Eevee's definitely creepy. It definitely looks creepy.
It's not creepy, it's adorable.
No, it's creepy. But drafting a good G-Max when the pool of G-Maxes that are good versus the pool of restricteds that are good, it makes sense to draft G-Max first. For sure. It makes sense to grab that.
Even though there are more G-Maxes, the power level difference between the two is night and day.
Yeah.
Looking at stuff like you said, you have stuff like Charizard, which I've played a lot with this last week. Venusaur, Blastoise, all of these are exceptional.
Colossal, Lapras, Rillaboom, Cinderace, Inteleon's Butterfree's a good G-Max, actually, in the draft league. Butterfree's actually really strong.
I was talking to Jiggly after the draft, and Colossal did go off the board. It went later than most of the other G-Maxes, but obviously. And that player's last pick, they took something with Aqua Jet. And just like, well, it was doomed to happen. There's 100 Pokemon with Aqua Jet.
Yeah, there's a million things with Aqua Jet.
Like if you're gonna do Colossal, like obviously this is also going to be something that you want to pair with it.
Yeah.
And like I was texting you during it and just like, hey, Colossal's still on the board as what is it, a B tier?
Colossal is A tier.
Yeah. I'm like, is this worth the A spot? And you're like, honestly, without the G-Max form, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it just isn't that strong. You set sand.
It's like, okay. And you know, that was the conclusion I came to. It's just like, well, on its own, this doesn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah. It's
still good. Steam Engine is still good, but Vocalith is the reason that Colossal was able to do so much. And that's honestly, having a good G-Max with the correct support behind it seems very, very important.
Yeah. Also, making sure your G-Max can work outside of G-Max is also another thing that's like a good thing to do, because technically there's 2 Urshifu, there's 2 Rillaboom. There's 4 Urshifu technically, and 2 Rillaboom, 2 Cinderace, 2 Garbodor, 2 Gengar, 2 Grimmsnarl, and all that stuff. So making sure, like, you can draft a G-Max and not have it be a big issue. Like, you could draft, if someone takes Grimmsnarl early but leaves the G-Max one up because they don't want to waste their G-Max slot, just take the G-Max Grimmsnarl.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to... You don't have to Gigantamax it, but that's where your Gigantamax slot's going to go. And Grimmsnarl's still a good support Pokemon. You're just trading it for... You're trading your G-Max for what is it? What is Grimmsnarl? Is it an S?
I believe it's S. Yes.
Yeah. So you're trading your G-Max for essentially having 2 S slots, which
is fine.
It's fine. It's essentially what it is. Same thing with Rillaboom. Like, if someone takes regular Rillaboom, I would be surprised if regular Rillaboom and G-Max Rillaboom don't go very, very fast, though. But
yeah, like Jiggly said, you know, that's a fair assessment of Colossal, and that's one of the reasons that regular Lapras is lower on the board, because Lapras is fine. It can do damage, but the reason G-Max Lapras is good is because it's that screens. It has resonance, and that's why it gets to do its thing very well. I believe Lapras fell all the way to B.
Yeah, Lapras is all the way in B.
Which, that's fine.
That's where it probably needs to be.
Honestly, that's probably where Colossal will probably end up after this season.
Yeah, like, we're going to be suspect testing a lot of these guys as we go through. A lot of Pokemon will probably be moving. There'll be Pokemon moving up. I expect a lot of Pokemon to move out of A and S, and probably S go down to A go to B go to C, and we might even implement a D at some point, depending on how this goes, just to kind of balance out teams for next time. But for right now, we wanted to do it with this because we have such power creep on our side here with all these restricted ones being in the format. We've talked about not prioritizing restricted mons all that too much on your first round. What else do we want to talk about here?
I think that's something that is really important, is knowing what you want to do with your first probably 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Something that I was really high on is wanting to be able to pick up dual threats, stuff that is good for offensive pressure, while also being able to be supportive if possible.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what I did with those first 3 slots of, okay, I have fake out potential, I have tailwind potential. There's a bunch of things that I am able to do with all of these, while also being able to put on a ton of pressure with them if I need to.
Yeah. That's just like a good thing to have, is like have an idea in mind of what you want to do and have multiple options for each of those. I'm not sure if the master list has this. I think it's Jiggly and Karibo's list has all the speed control options, the fake out options, which that's a really good tool to have. It'll tell you everything that has fake out, everything that has tailwind, everything that has trick room. I believe There's a couple other things. Intimidate, competitive, and defiant are all on the list.
I will say the one thing missing from my team is a hard counter to Trick Room. That feels like the one thing that if I wanted to make some free agent plays or trades, that's the one thing that I would really want to change, because I'm not sure if it's actually going to be viable or even applicable. But I think it within my pod. But I think once we get to Top Cut, that could be something that I need to worry about, and therefore, at that point, teams are locked.
Yeah,
I can't make trades at that point.
Yeah.
I need to be able to have the best possible team going into that if possible.
Yeah.
So that's like what I want to do with the first early rounds. The mid rounds are honestly like the bread and butter of the draft, if you want me to be 100% honest. This is where your team really starts shaping up and you actually start getting solid cores.
Yeah.
So my first couple picks, I had there were cores that were starting to come together. I realized immediately that, hey, I have 2 of this triangle. I want to finish this triangle. So immediately finished that one off, and then went, okay, I have this one now. I need to start working on
this next one.
Yep. And so, okay, well, going through this, now I have my Firewater Grass. I have my Steel Fairy Steel.
Fairy Fantasy Core.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Dragon Fairy Steel. There we go. I'm like, I have both of those accomplished. So at this point, what do we want? And so there was a couple things that weren't really particularly well with both my restricted mon and members of my Steel Fairy Dragon Core. So I'm just like, all right, those seem like very obvious picks that no one wants, that no one has picked up yet. So might as well go ahead and finalize that. And then from there, it's just, okay, what coverage am I missing? What do I need? What are other potential damage output that I can handle with, that I need to be able to finalize this team? Yeah. So that's something I'm really high on, is not taking super offensive threats early, because that means you're going to get lackluster support late.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important thing that I've learned quite a bit from the 3 draft leagues I've done now, plus the monotype league, of, okay, you want good support. Your support mons are easily the most important thing that I cannot stress enough. Take your support mons early.
Yeah, grab your support when you can. If you're not unsure what you need to take the best support mon you can find. Like we said earlier, there's going to be 2 Grimsnarls running around. There's technically 2 Corviknights Knights running around. Corviknights Knight's a great bulky wall that can just sit there in front of people if you need that. Outside of that, things like Togekiss, things like Clefairy, Jigglypuff. There's a reason Jigglypuff is in the A tier. There's a reason Jigglypuff is there.
one thing I would say is the difference between something like Togekiss and Togepi is drastic.
Yeah.
Granted, Togepi can hold Eviolite. You can make it super bulky, but that's all it does.
Yeah.
It clicks follow me and dies.
Yeah.
Whereas Togekiss, as previous series have shown, can also be a very offensive mon if you need it to be. Not just having follow me isn't enough. Just having helping hand isn't enough. Having access to be able to dish out damage when needed is a huge part that I can't stress enough.
Yeah. And the other side of that coin is a lot of your damage is spread out amongst all the tiers. Like, looking through the B tier here, there's Aegislash is a powerhouse in Draft League because you're not having to worry about the same fire type or the same ghost type every time. Blaziken's in B tier.
Blaziken, I will say, it went very late. And honestly, when it went, my first thought is, man, that's a super good pick.
Yeah.
That went so late. I honestly forgot it was still on the board.
There's a lot of Series 6 and early Series 2 stuff. Durant is a B tier.
Yeah, seriously debated picking up
Dragalge's a B tier. Escavalier's a B tier.
Like Goodra's another one.
Goodra's another B tier Pokemon that's really strong.
Puts on a ton of pressure when it needs to. Having access to things like Sap Sipper also makes it where it can just be a wall when need to.
Not just going to list up the whole thing, but just like there's so much damage in the lower tiers too that drafting a good support core and then grabbing your damage that you want, because any like you could play Tailwind plus really fast physical damage. Well, that could be Durant, that could be Landers, that could be Barraskewda, could be what's in the C tier here.
Like you have Cloyster. Cloyster can put on a ton of pressure.
Aggron's in the C tier as well. Like you could do Trick Room Aggron things. Aggron may be like 4 times weak to fighting, but how many people are running fighting types?
I do want to look. I'm assuming it's here. Where is Tyrantrum?
Tyrantrum would be a right there, Revelos Arena.
Oh, okay. It was one that I thought was in C, and I almost took it. And I'm really glad that I didn't now, because I didn't have a B slot at the time. But you know, these lower picks are very good. There's a lot that just you don't need to reserve damage early. Being able to have it where you're sweeping with less popular Mons is just fine, and that's completely okay. What did you do here, man?
It's when the you just keep talking. I'm fixing the alphabet.
So stuff like, you know, talking like looking here at like C tier, there's some decent support here. You have Tangrowth, which can, you know, Rage Powder plus Sleep Powder plus Chlorophyll. That is not a bad combination. You have stuff like Mawile that has Intimidate plus Helping Hand, I believe. I can't remember if it also gets Fake Out. I don't believe it does. But then you have stuff like Thwackey. Eviolite Thwackey is a hell of a threat. And that sounds super weird to say, but it's good. It's just fine. Being able to dish out damage with Grassy Glide while also applying Fake Out support is just fine. Being able to like looking else here, we have like damage output down in C tier. We have things like, oh, quick look here.
I ran into a weakness policy stand at Conda the other day.
That's adorable.
It actually is like it hits like a truck.
You have like C tier. You have things like Shiftry, which can be good if you have the sun support for it. Having access to Chlorophyll is fine. You have like Surfetched, which I've played historically in Draft League. It's good. I believe that was that season 1 I traded you for Surfetched, or was that season 2?
Season 1. No, season 2.
It was season 2 because you had Mimikyu Dragapult and you wanted Aegislash.
Yeah, I wanted the Aegislash to actually do stuff with.
So then you have like other decent support options here. You have like Purloin. It does everything that you want Liepard to do. But its stats are worse. Who cares? You're gonna have it hold a focus sash anyway.
Yeah, like it's gonna do its thing still, no matter what. You want it to just be. It's not gonna be super as fast as.
That's not right.
It's not gonna be as fast.
No, that's not right. That's not alphabetical.
I know. It's not the one I wanted to grab.
But now you deleted it.
My list is up here.
No, you deleted Shedinja. There you go. Okay. And like, you know, you have all kinds of offensive threats all over the board. If you're wanting to do stuff with like weather, well, there's your setters for weather are the most important part, right? Like obviously your restricted ones, you have Groudon, Kyogre, and those are debatably 2 of the best setters in the format. But we also have Politoed. We also have Torkoal. We have Ninetales. We have Alolan Ninetales if you want to do Hail. We have Tyranitar. We have Gigalith, Hippowdon. Like, all of these are fine. But if you want to do weather, they're not your only option.
Yeah.
You know, being able to have things like Klefki that can set sun. Having access to Whimsicott, which has access to Prankster Sunny Day. Tornadus.
Thunderous.
Tornadus and Thunderous, which both have Prankster
Rain
Dance. Like, you're not locked into only having your weather setter be a mon with Sandstream or Drought, and to that effect as well, you're not reliant on the best tier 1 sweepers that are dominating ladder. You don't need Venusaur to run Sun. You can play Vileplume. Vileplume's good.
Lilligant
is good. Kangrowth, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's bulky.
It's very bulky, especially like Eviolite Tangela. You want to talk about a chlorophyll like wall? There you go. That's one for you.
Which, that's funny. We sat there and debated Tangrowth and Tangela for almost a week.
It was at least a week. Just like, all right, I'm tired of arguing about this. Someone else make the decision, and I don't care what it is anymore. Yeah, Mantine, perfect example.
Yeah,
Mantine is C tier.
I believe Mantine's C tier. It's B.
Is it B?
It's B.
Yep. Perfect example. Not a mon that you see on ladder, but
beat me up, I'll tell you that.
It's real good in these limited formats. Stuff like Ludicolo, which historically, when back in Series 1 and Series 2, when your only weather setter was Pelipper, this is your go-to Swift Swimmer.
Yep.
Like, you have access to Dreadnought. That's another Swift Swimmer. You have Poliwrath. There's plenty of abusers if you know what you're wanting to do with it.
Ludicolo's a fun one.
Huh?
Ludicolo's a fun Swift Swimmer.
Ludicolo is definitely one that you're just like, all right, well, I forgot this existed.
Get some duck and get them.
Like you have things like Hail, where you have Arctivision Arctozolt.
Yeah, Hail's so much better now than it was the previous draft leagues because you have Slush Rush, Arctivision, Arctozolt.
Which I know Ro used them in Monotype League to pretty good success.
Yeah.
Went 4-0 in Swiss with them. So I know those are definitely things that he brought at least 1 or 2 weeks. So
fun fact, Arctozolt gets to 107, which is the magical number to outspeed Dragapult.
Yep. We were talking about it last night of mons that not enough people respect. And one that came to my mind was Gmax Kingler.
Yeah.
Because
it's speed control.
If you have access to make Kingler fast with Tailwind, well, guess what? Now it's the fastest thing on the field. It's going to hit you before you get to go fast.
Yep.
So now my Tailwind expires. I'm still faster than you.
Yeah.
Jiggly's response to that is, well, Pikachu's just better because you have permanent status on them to make them slower. You aren't reliant on them switching in and out to get your speed. And honestly, was not something I actually thought about.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Toxtricity can kind of do the same thing if you roll correctly, which is a unique thing for it. So yeah, just don't fret too much about drafting the lower tiers. Try to find things that fit your just playstyle better. I'm a big Goodra fan. If Goodra's on the board and I need to fill a slot, I'll probably end up taking Goodra.
Hey, you need a counter to grass types and you need something to fill in your fantasy core? Hey, Goodra's on the board. Why not?
Azumarill fits the same description.
Yep.
It does the same thing. It's water.
It not only does it fit the fantasy core, it also fills in your water, fire, grass core.
Which things like Primarina also do. But Primarina's fallen off the face of the planet because Tapu Fini's a thing. But Primarina's going to probably be pretty decent for a draft league pick, just in general.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's only one Fini.
Yep.
So
only one person gets Fini, so you got to find your water fairies elsewhere.
And there's a few of them. Things like Brion, which we've have a history with. It's fine. It does what it needs to, and it's fine.
The Pokemon that can carry Eviolite in draft leagues are actually fairly good sometimes.
Having a good Eviolite slot is very... It can make or break a team, to be 100%
I
honest.
abused the heck out of Eviolite War Turtle because it had Fake Out.
It is budget Blastoise.
Yeah, it's budget Blastoise. But Blastoise was gone. It's okay, I'll just take War Turtle. It does the same thing, and it hits Macolassel for less.
My current Trick Room answer for this season, Rhydon. Why not? It carries Eviolite, it's super bulky, and can hit like a truck.
Yeah.
It's fine. having good answers to pulling out the checklist for a second. Things that I want to make sure we have. Good support. Good support is number one, right? That is the best thing and most important thing I think we can have. Mm-hmm. After that, it's speed control.
Yep.
Being able to control either your speed to increase it with something like tailwind, max airstreams. Those are all forms of speed control. On the other hand, lowering your opponent's speed. You have swamps. You have the grass pledge. That is something you can actually reasonably pull off in Draft League. Mm-hmm. And that's a base 150 move coming off of one of the starters' special attacks, which are all pretty decent.
If I remember right, the swamp is grass.
Grass and water.
Well, no, the typing of the move. The swamp is actually grass type when it comes off. The grass fire is the fire type, and the water fire is the water type.
Which water fire is rainbow, right?
Water fire is rainbow.
That one's not very good.
One of them doubles on hit effect chance.
Yeah, that's
and then
rainbow.
The other one's damage. It's like a wildfire.
It's residual damage. That's the fire grass. If you want my honest opinion, perfect example. Torracat. It is budget Incineroar, less weaknesses,
and it's faster.
Yeah, it's good.
It's actually fast, and it can actually be kind of bulky. So yeah, don't fret trying to get the best Pokemon of each tier all the time. Make sure you just draft something cohesive and more to your playstyle.
Talking about speed control, I debated taking Galvantula because String Shot.
String Shot's good.
String Shot's very good. Lowering both of their speeds by 2 is like, all right, cool. Like, now I know I'm the fastest thing. And like, you hit it once, that's good enough. Then you just smack them with Electro Balls.
You just gotta hope you hit it.
Is it 85?
I believe it's low. It's below. It's not anywhere close to 90. I believe it's 85. It's either 80 or 85. Someone double check though.
Sableye bot, come here.
Someone grab the Sableye bot. But yeah, make sure you have a list of checks. Make sure you have at least a decent team that you like.
95.
Oh, that's much higher.
And it's more accurate than Screech, and it hits both of them.
I miss a lot of those. So I hit more Screeches than I do string shots.
So we have support, we have speed control. My next big box probably is your damage output.
Yeah.
That can be 100 different things. That could literally be basically any mon with a decent attack stat.
Yeah, anything that can, with an attack stat of about 100 is going to suffice. You can throw a life orb, you can throw a weakness policy, any expert belt, anything that's going to be able to deal damage is just fine.
See, looking here at like generic, just looking at A tier, there's Buzzwole.
Yep.
Sure, smack them.
Araquanid.
Perfect example. Smack them.
Arcanine, Archeops. Well, I'll probably don't want to draft Archeops, but Barrascuda, Colossal, Cobalion, Conkeldurr, Crobat's got an okay attack stat. Duraludon's on the A tier. Dracozolt, Dragonite, Excadrill, Garchomp. A lot of your damage is probably going to come from that A tier.
A's and B's can be real good damage, and like if you fall short on damage, there's pretty decent options in C, like we've talked about. There's your Aggron, you have Cloyster, we have Crawdaunt.
Beware.
Crawdaunt's not bad. Beware's not bad.
Adaptability Crawdaunt is actually scary.
It can smack them. You have doubles a mon that can bulk up.
Doublade.
And smack. Yeah. I seriously debated taking Doublade last night.
Eviolite Doublade is so bulky, even though it's just so slow. Ditto. You can take Ditto.
Reading chat here. Galvantula also has Compound Eyes, so it should be 100 base accuracy string shots.
Should be. Then. Yeah.
Electroweb, Icy Wind, both excellent forms of speed control as well. Snarl, another fantastic move, being able to have access to. These are all options.
Yes, we did.
Then the next big thing is do we either have a Trick Room answer, or can we prevent them from setting Trick Room? Can we set up our own Trick Room? Can we sweep in Trick Room?
Yeah.
The Trick Room answer all kind of clumps together.
Yeah, the Trick Room answer it also kind of plays off of what speed control you're doing. If your speed control ends up being Trick Room, then you probably
be able to abuse it.
Then you probably already filled that slot, and you need to be able to like make sure you get through. Make sure you have a second setter, or make sure you have redirection, or make sure you have something like that.
So talking about Trick Room, like you said, you want a reliant way of setting it up if possible. May that be like fake out plus Trick Room, or redirection plus Trick Room, or there's Indeedee,
2 Trick Room mons on the field at the same time.
Like, Indeedee female is a perfect mon that I don't think has enough respect in this current format in Draft League. It pairs so well with so many of the Gmax mons. It pairs extremely well with all of a ton of the restricted mons. Perfect example. You can have like Indeedee, the cross with Duskbane.
Yeah.
Follow me, Trick Room. Smack them.
If you can't get one of the restricted ones that have Trick Room, you can just grab Gmax Hattering.
Perfect. Yeah,
that's another big one. Is it's like that's a common pairing all the time we used to see is Hattering and Indeedee female,
or Hattering Copycat. You have access to real Lipard Purloin.
Is that alone?
That's all that come to mind.
I think doesn't one of the Meowstics get it?
I don't know if Meowstic male does. I know it's the one with Prankster, but I can't remember if it gets access to Copycat.
I don't think that one. I think it's the one without Prankster gets access to it, which is weird.
Weird. Female gets competitive. So, then being able to have a good Trick Room threat / answer / control form is a good thing to be able to have access to. Being able to either stop your opponent from doing it because that's their form of speed control, or being able to abuse it if your opponent does set it up, I think are both very good answers. And that's honestly, like, looking at my team, that's the one thing I don't feel comfortable with right now.
Yeah.
Which I think I've mentioned today. I know I've talked to you about a bit. I've talked to a lot of people about, like,
how you don't have a Trick Room answer.
It's the one thing that concerns me, man. That's probably going to be the one thing that I adjust and make an A.
Do you have a taunt? Someone learn taunt on your team?
I have at least one, if not 2 or 3.
Fine.
Yeah, probably. The Ride-On suggestion came from Evan. It's like, actually, yeah, that seems great here. I'm just going to take it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to make people sit around while I look at the C tier for 3 minutes.
Other notable Trick Room answers.
Down here in C tier. Persian. Persian gets access to taunt plus fake out. Spirit Tomb, I believe, gets taunt.
I believe so.
Shiftery gets fake out plus taunt. Jiggly, you could have told him to. You could have told him not to, yet you didn't. You could have told him not to help. He probably wouldn't have listened. Yeah, Thwacky. Thwacky's another one that gets access to taunt.
Don't sleep on Thwacky. Do not sleep
I cannot
on Thwacky.
stress that enough. You and I have both gotten God by it. No, yours was Rillaboom. Mine was actually Thwacky.
Yeah. Do not get got by Thwacky.
But like even looking at B tier, you have Bronzong that has access to setting it. Alakazam can set it. Aromatisse can set it.
Yes,
okay.
That's the one that can. I had to think about which one could.
Yeah, Trapinch. You want to talk about a Trick Room sweeper? Trapinch.
Yeah.
Base 100 attack, base like 10 speed or something.
That's a good one too. Yeah, if you miss out on getting Psychic Terrain and you to prevent fake out, Serena's a good option with Queenly Majesty.
One-sided Psychic Terrain works great. I am a huge fan of Serena in Draft League. Cannot stress that enough.
Yeah.
I know my boy Sweet is too. He's just a fan of Serena in general.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like Trick Room sweepers, we have Escavalier. We have Espeon to be able to set it. Both Executor forms. Gardevoir. Yeah, see, there's a ton of ways to set it if you want it. There's a ton of ways to be able to ancillary it.
There's another threat down here. It's an Ultra Beast Guzzlord's down here in B tier. Be aware of that.
Yeah. Also, there's B word over in C tier.
Yeah.
Be aware of that too.
Jellicent's a good setter and can actually be a threat underneath it. Lurantis is scary in Trick Room. Let me tell you what. Contrary Lurantis just sits there and superpowers you to death.
Like, okay.
Can also just sit there and Leaf Storm you if you want.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gallade. Gallade has some weird move pool. But it's because it has access to basically all of Gardevoir's pool.
Yeah, Gardevoir's move pool plus its own set of
fighting support. Yeah. Gets access to coaching. So that brings me basically to my next point of the Wombo combos of being able to have A plus B equals
get you.
Yeah. These are things like Colossal plus whatever.
Colossal plus water type move. Venu Cole is a good is a common one you see in VGC. The Rain Duo, Kingdra Politoed, things like that. Which the way we do our draft is we're hoping that it reduces some of the popular ones and makes people start to think outside the box and start to draft into weird, less powerful combos.
Do that same effect. You can take Politoed early because it can be both supportive and super offensive, which is one of those big boxes I want to check. And then pick up a lower tier Swift Swarm abuser later. Stuff like Seismitoad. Or Golduck.
Not Seismitoad.
Yeah, please don't. I'm not a fan.
Ludicolo. Ludicolo is a fine B pick for if you're trying to do rain.
Exactly. There's 100 Swift Swim Mons that you can pick from.
Yeah.
You just because you have access to Kingdra doesn't mean it's the go-to best one.
Yeah.
Looking like so. Along that same line of. What ways do I have to trigger weakness policies? Weakness policy is extremely good in this format.
Yep.
Weakness policy is extremely good in doubles VGC formats anyway.
Yeah, so it's just in general.
Being able to have ways of triggering policy with priority moves. So stuff like Aqua Jet comes to mind. Sylveon for quick attack pixelate stuff. That is something you have access to do. Mach Punch, Vacuum Wave, so stuff like Hitmontop comes to mind. You have access to Dusclops under Trick Room and trigger policy on a ton of the Trick Room sweepers with Rock Tomb and Brick Break and Shadow Sneak.
Yeah. And
all these moves.
Also any steel type with Bulldoze, any fire type with Bulldoze, any the list keeps going and going. To acknowledge Evan here about how we skipped over Groudon and Kyogre. This is more for people who are in lower tier, lower picks to find their weather setters this way. I'd be surprised in my group specifically. I'd be very happy to pick a Kyogre at
if possible, sure, go for it.
A Kyogre or Groudon at 5. I'd be okay with that. I could find a Sun or a Rain threat, easy peasy.
Yeah, that's the big thing of Politoad's good. Kyogre's just insane.
Yeah.
The difference between the two is night and day. Torkoal's fine and it's extremely bulky and its support move pool is probably better than Groudon. Granted, I haven't played with Groudon in who knows how long. And I literally have not looked at its move pool at all in Sword and Shield. So I couldn't tell you for sure.
It's still good.
Yeah, I figured, but
I can tell you that it's still good.
But it can't yawn people, which is something that Torkoal has access to that Groudon doesn't. That's just another option that you need to be able to weigh.
Yeah.
Yep. Vulpix gets access to Drought and Ice Warning as well. Those are
your weather combos are always good. Your terrain combos are always good. Weakness policy is a good one. What other combos have we not talked about? Can anybody draft Weezing Regigigas?
Yep. Completely possible.
Is that a thing? Is the
Gigas is S,
and then
Weezing, I believe, is
Weezing G.
A.
Yeah, they're
both of them are A. And worst case scenario, you have Coughing.
Yeah, one of them will get him, or you can just draft Latios or something with Simple Beam or Worry Seed or anything like that. So be on the lookout. Whoever drafts Regigigas, that's an option for you.
That is 100% a viable option. My problem with specifically Gigas is it only does one thing. It only punches people.
Yeah.
You're devoting your Dynamax to it basically every game you bring it.
To be fair, It does. It's a
really good Dynamax target.
It's a real good puncher. When you get rid of that slow start, it's a real good puncher.
But yeah, you're very much protect the queen style of gameplay of keep the wheezing Giga, keep the wheezing or coughing alive, and if you're doing stuff with like Prankster, Worry Seed, or Simple Beam, or something like that, well, then you're set up. You don't care.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's actually what I prefer with Gigas right now is Worry Seed or Simple Beam. Change the ability. Don't neutralize it, because then the gets taken out and you're back to normal. If you just Worry Seed your Gigas, what are they going to do? Hit your Pokemon with a Focus Sash sitting next to you that already's done its thing?
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
Like, I'm going to set up Tailwind if it's Whimsicott. Or
the other thing,
Floral Healing if it's Comfey.
The other thing about that is I feel like those are more easy to disrupt with like Priority Taunt or Fake Out, and then like Gigas has maxed that turn and it doesn't get to do its thing.
Yeah.
So there are pluses and minuses. If you're gonna take Gigas, have multiple ways of doing the thing.
Yeah.
Don't be reliant of, okay, I have exactly Whimsicott or I have exactly Wheezing.
Yeah, have both. Have access to both, which you can't. I don't think you can get Whim.
Whim is C. Whim is S tier.
Yeah, you can't get Whim and Gigas, but there's other grass types that are fast that have access to Worry Seed. You don't have to worry about it too much.
Another thing that's like really awesome in this is, oh my lord, I'm blanking so hard. I just had it and I can't think of it now. Man, it literally right there.
Now it's gone.
Oh, we were talking about Gigas and Whimsicott, and there was a thought in between those two, and I can't remember, man. I'm so mad. It was a good idea.
There's an option, Cottony. Does Cottony get Worry Seed?
It should. I know it doesn't get Tailwind.
Yeah, it doesn't get Tailwind, but it might get Worry Seed. Cottony would be a good option. If you have to draft, if you have a C slot you need to fill, slap a Focus Sash on your Cottony.
Good enough.
Yep, it's right there. There's Cottony on the list.
Yeah, but I need to see if it has the thing.
It probably has Worry Seed. It doesn't have Tailwind, but it probably has Worry
Seed. It does. It does. Man, I'm so mad. I can't remember what it was.
You'll keep talking and you'll think about it. Probably need to get ready to move on to the rest of the segment of the show here. Talk about Draft League for what?
Probably close to an hour.
Pretty close to an hour now.
And I didn't drop too much of what my team's doing.
You did mention one.
One is better than 10.
Okay.
Oh, figured it out. Justice Trio. Those are super viable options. And there's a ton of beat up strats, and like those are things that you can do, and they're super reasonable.
Yeah, beat up's actually really powerful in Draft League.
In more limited formats like this, where not everyone has access to redirection, being able to just smack them is good. Being able to just punch your Pokemon a couple times for like 4 damage. And then just clap cheeks for the next 3 turns from your Dynamax. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, now I think I'm actually done with Draft League stuff.
You think you're done with Draft League stuff?
I can't think of anything else. See, Evan said it was a nice recovery.
Oh my goodness. Well, if you're done with Draft League stuff, we're going to move to the next event that's coming up, which we're trying to plan this around that, Players Cup 3.
Hey, we have a Rumble tomorrow for prep of this.
Yeah, there's a Rumble tomorrow for those that may or may not be aware. I'm pretty sure most of our guys are aware, but if you're new and been watching for this past hour and a half, Rumble is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time.
4 CST, yep.
And I think you limit it to max 20 matches. I think that's what I said on the thing.
15 or 20, I can't remember. I believe it's 20.
So make sure you go and join the Discord. There should be a link somewhere below. I think somewhere. I'm not sure.
! Discord?
Should be able to do that. Yeah.
Hooray!
It works. make sure you come and join the Discord so you can play in the Rumble tomorrow.
And if you're not listening on Twitch, that link is always down in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you're listening not on Twitch, it has already happened. The Rumble was this past weekend for everyone
Would be
else.
The Friday.
Yep. But there's a couple of things that we have going on. I know this is one that Navier has sent in. This is what I'm going to be playing for laddering this week with what he has described as super anti-meta. So we have Terracot, which is just good. Segueing from Draft League over to
beat up on here is Terracot, Scourge of Series. Whatever, 5. It was like 5, and then it was a thing before that,
and then Whimsicott got deleted for 6, and everyone was sad, and by everyone I mean me.
We had to find new Pokemon.
So that led to not only do we have Terracot, but we also have Weakness Policy on Terrakion, so we can lead Blastoise and Aqua Jet into ourselves.
Yeah,
which. It's going to kind of hurt because we are Life Orb, but Blastoise is a Mon that I have played with a lot in the last week. It's great. Not enough people are ready for Blastoise, and not enough people know how to play around it.
As someone who was testing Blastoise with Colossal, it doesn't do terribly much. It doesn't hurt a ton. It hurts, but it's not like Surf from Dragapult hurt.
Okay. Granted, this is also into Terrakion, which is only weak to it. It's not 4 times weak, so that will make a difference.
Like 10%. That's about what it does to Cole too, from Blastoise and Azumarill is like 5.
Perks of not being huge power.
Yeah, having a terrible attack and not being huge power.
Yeah, as Navier says, it does about 10%. Yeah, as the man himself of the hour is here. We also have Shell Smash on Blastoise, which next to Amoonguss lets us redirect to be able to set up our Shell Smash, so then we can sweep up Blastoise if possible. Amoonguss is also great here because it lets us Nasty Plot with Rotom. Then we have Rotom to go big and blow people up. And then from there, we have Dusclops. Dusclops.
Yeah, that's the one spot on the team. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
It's the anti-Trick Room tech.
I'm assuming that's what we're doing it for, right? Is just anti-Trick Room?
I'm assuming.
Nothing in this team really wants to go terribly slow since we have Tailwind.
The only thing that is hey, I want to go slow is Amoonguss.
Yeah.
And that's just so we can spore people faster?
Yeah, it's so we can just do faster spores. Just be max speed with Turbo Shroom.
Dude, don't joke about Turbo Shroom.
No, it's not a joke. Just do Turbo Shroom. I remember them talking about. Now you're talking about. Yeah, it's just anti-TR.
Okay. I assume so, but I like the confirmation. Willow is also great. Pain Split makes it where you can break potential sashes. Nightshade just generic chip damage.
Extends the game.
Yeah. Adds Pain Split adds longevity to your Dusclops, which is great.
Yeah. I believe the +2 Terrakion Close Combat Oko's Regigigas.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I believe
that's +2. That's not even +4.
Yeah, well, +4 is whatever. But the thing is you don't get justified with Weezy on the field.
You're smart.
You can't beat up.
You're really smart.
That's why you Aqua Jet. That's why you do the Aqua Jet thing.
I'm really glad you're here because I'm stupid.
You didn't even think about it.
Nope.
You're just like, I'm going to click beat up.
Just going to beat my own dude up. Oh.
It doesn't do anything.
Great. Love it.
This is your laddering team for next week.
Yep.
And it's pretty straightforward on its face.
It does a lot of things that all pair well together.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing about it. So, very excited to play this. And then tomorrow for the Rumble and what I played for the ATX friendlies this past Monday, we have this abomination of a team.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. I love this. This is sweet.
So this is what you played for the Monday Night Friendlies.
We built this team in about 45 minutes from the ground up. And man, it's fun. It is so fun. So the general idea, Whimsicott was originally Togekiss, so we could shell smash with Blastoise and make all three of our starters huge threats. And then we're just like, all of these are already special. Why not just have Prankster Fake Tears instead, and also have Tailwind, and also have Prankster Sunny Day?
Yeah, because so like right, two of our things like Sun.
Get rid of Whimsicott. Get rid of Togekiss. Throw in Whimsicott. This is cooler anyway. And yeah,
like, minus the Whimsicott and Rhyperior, you're like, here's Gen 1 team.
Worst part is if I could
yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Ash's team, but not.
So the funny part is, when we were looking at this, we were originally, like, at one point I suggested Espeon and Snorlax in his last two slots. I'm like, well, Espeon does get Sunny Day, but it doesn't do anything else for the team other than be extremely frail and die. So Whimsicott's probably better.
Yeah.
And then we started doing calcs for Rhyperior. So you're not slower than Glastrier, but that's fine because you can live a Max Hailstorm from him and then Oko him back.
Nice. Secret tech. We're gonna beat up Glastrier.
It's good. I have brought Rhyperior to probably like 5 games. One of which I brought to. So game 1 of friendlies, I 4-0'd them. Which I almost lost because I targeted down the Urshifu instead of the Eliki. Because I figured Eliki was Sash. Nope, Urshifu was Sash. Then Eliki got off a huge Electro Web and did like 65% to Charizard Max or something. It's like, alright, well, we're not making that mistake again. So game 2, we correctly... Well, I didn't max Charizard, but I did target into the Eliki with a Scorching Sands, and it did like 98%. Just like
so close.
So then we lost our Charizard.
Yeah.
Brought in Rhyperior, maxed it in front of Landorus, picked up the KO on whatever switched in for Eliki. Picked up the KO on Venusaur because Venusaur missed its Frenzy Plant. Yep, missed a 95 accurate move. Which the only reason I was in game 1 is because they missed a Electro Web on my Whimsicott. So, missed Electro Web on Whimsicott. Game 2 misses Frenzy Plant into Rhyperior, which then led me to be able to pick up the KO on Torkoal, and then Venusaur, and then... No, it was pick up the KO on Venusaur, and then Landorus, and Torkoal... I went for a high horsepower and I missed it. So I was in the game because they missed a move, and I lost the game because I missed mine. And then game 3, I replaced Rhyperior with Blastoise, and Blastoise just ran over him.
Yeah.
We got to do Charizard thing game 1, early game, and then Blastoise came in, and Fake Tears plus Ice Beam was able to basically one-shot max Landorus. Just like, all right, cool, thanks. That was great.
Hey, thanks, bye.
Earlier today, I went from Great Ball to Master to Ultra Ball. I went like 6-1 or something with it this morning, and the one loss I had was because I didn't bring Rhyperior, and I timed out turn 1 trying to think how I beat Trick Room. It was rough and easily lost the game. So that was the first time I'm just like, all right, maybe this team's actually not good. And then I went 5-0. Just like, all right, this team's actually great.
Went on a tear. But yeah, so this is your PC3 team. I have no idea what I'm playing yet.
Can I make a suggestion?
Not this.
No. Why do you hate fun, Carl?
It's not that I hate fun. It's just this is not my kind of team.
It is very offensive.
Yeah, no. That's my downfall. Is I am not a best of 1 player. I'm a best of 3 player, and best of 1s irk me. I am not good when it comes to best of 1.
So what you need to do is just find a gimmick. You need to play eject button Whimsicott and just get people. I'm telling you, make them salt off the edge of the earth.
Just make everybody quit.
Find the most annoying things you can do and make them salt off the edge of the earth.
Well, I'm good at that. I have Incineroar Raikou who just sits there and just snarls for days. Yeah, I was playing with the Perish Trap Cradilly whole team. It's fine. The Trick Room part of it just felt miserable because if you don't have to bring Glastrier and you have to bring Gothitelle. If you bring Gothitelle, you want to bring a Azumarill. And then you kind of just sit there and stare at Incineroar, Cradilly, and Cole and just like, what do I do?
None of these are perfect for
like,
what I
none of these do what I needed to do. It's like Cradilly is the best of the bunch because you don't randomly get boosted to +6 speed when you get hit by a fire type attack.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like Cole Cradilly plus way to trigger policy and Storm Drain at the same time. That's what I like. I like that. And then I need to find the rest of it.
Yeah, there we go. Chansey, Shuckle, and 2 other monsters just stall out the game. Yeah, that's what you do. Perfect lead. You lead Ensign Raikou, stall out their Dynamax, bring in Shuckle, Chansey in the back, minimize and Toxic stall.
Big egg.
I see no downside. You don't need the Dynamax, Carl.
No, I'm just saying we have big egg.
Yeah, I'm just saying you don't even need the Dynamax.
That's funny because a lot of the games Raikou Ensign wins is I don't Dynamax at all.
You're just like, are you dead yet?
I just sit there and snarl for days. There was one game I played on Showdown. It was like 25 turns.
You sent this replay to me.
I clicked snarl for about 15 to 20 of those turns.
Yeah, you sent it to me. I got about 10 turns in. I'm just like, all right, you win this game. I'm done.
Yeah, I literally just clicked snarl, and they were all special attackers. And that was their downfall, is they brought all specials because they saw Incineroar. And they don't think about
it. Nice intimidate, idiot.
Get you.
See, so. I like Ring Lantern stuff here. You can minimize Chansey and then Dynamax it. And max knuckle them. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But you can max knuckle them.
I think I'd rather just minimize and Seismic Toss.
You'll do more, yes. But then
probably not much more.
But then you have minimize Dynamax. And that sounds hilarious.
But yeah, I like Cradilly Cole water thing. I haven't decided what water mod.
Have you tried Goodra?
As like
another Sap Sipper mon?
The Sap Sipper's not the problem. You need something with Aqua Jet and or Surf. You want 2 ways to trigger Cole.
Okay, so Cradilly. What about Cole, Cradilly, Urshifu, and then Goodra? Then you have protection for your Urshifu from Rillaboom, while also being able to trigger your Cole. And then just these last 2 slots can be either your Trick Room answer or whatever else you you literally could just slap on Dusclops, Glastrier in the last 2 slots and it'd be okay.
Probably.
The big thing about that is you don't have a way to reliably get Trick Room up, which is one of the big things that Incineroar was doing on that other build of fake out.
Yeah, that was the fun thing, was Incineroar Gothitelle is the way to set Trick Room a lot of the times, or you lead Gothitelle plus threat and they have to focus down the threat while Gothitelle just gets to do its thing, or you fake the Trick Room setup and you do Gothitelle, Cole, they go to beat up the Cole, you swap Cradilly, Cradilly gets the boost. That was another fun one. I had a lot of fun leads. It's just sitting there when I have to do the Trick Room thing and have to fight under Trick Room just felt miserable.
Okay, so what if instead of Trick Room we just find a better answer to it of just shutting theirs down instead?
That's what I was doing. I was looking at Moltres or other taunt, Pokemon that got taunt consistently. It's going to be fast enough to do it.
Have you played with the double horse team?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like that one a lot. It's a good best of 1.
Good enough to build it?
I'd have to find Tapu Lele.
I have a Lele.
then we probably could build it fast.
I'm 99% sure I have a Lele. It's a Psychic Surge, right?
Yeah, it's the Psychic Surge one.
Okay. Yeah, let me pull up home while I'm thinking about it.
It's Urshifu Dark, Spectrier, Blastrier,
Have them.
Tapu Lele, Whimsicott, and then this one. There was a glaring weakness I found with that team, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it's just not being able to deal with Venusaur like at all.
So the last slot we just swapped for Politoed and laugh at him.
I wish it was that easy.
I just made it that easy.
Venusaur is scary for that team. That's one thing I do remember.
Evidently, I don't have a Lele
on. We'll get something figured out. We could probably brainstorm tonight while we're just hanging out, cooking dinner.
While we're watching the other draft go down?
Yeah.
Let's get on GTS and see if we can find a Lele.
Probably for like a random Cubfu or
something. Found one looking for... Yeah, it's like, do you have a Feeny for trade? I do, and I want to trade my Feeny because it's already EV trained. Yes. Adamant Lele.
You got Play Rough. Have you seen the physical Feeny sets floating around? The Choice Band Feeny sets?
I ran into Weakness Policy Feeny this morning.
Not surprised on that one, really.
So I led Whimsicott Charizard. No, Whimsicott Charizard with Raichu and Venu in the back. Dynamax Charizard set Sunny Day. They maxed Feeny. I just targeted down their other slot the entire time. Where they finally bring out... No, I switched into... After I set Sunny Day, I switched into Raichu and just light screened, faked out their thing, blew it up again, and just like eventually Feeny's Dynamax was over. I'm just like, all right, bang. Oh, cool, your policy. All right, Charizard taking you out.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So what they would do is it's either... I believe the pairing I saw was Tornadus Feeny, and
that's what it was.
They would
Sludge Wave.
They swaggered.
Oh,
because you can't be confused. They just kept clicking swagger. This Feeny got to +6 and was just waterfall, smart strike, play rough, blow you up.
Oh,
it's scary. Yeah, it's scary.
The lead they had was Tornadus Feeny,
and you can Tailwind Sludge Wave.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't lead Whim.
Maybe I just need to play Tornadus Metagross and just play that. Just brutal
time to bring back Metagross again.
Probably. It's dipped off enough that it's like not a terrible thing. Just make sure I have an answer to Cole teams and make sure I can just deal with beating Cole.
I almost lost a game this morning to Banded Rock Slide Metagross. they crit the Rock Slide on turn 1 and one shot my Max Charizard.
Ooh.
Oh, Billy!
Get him!
So it came down to I had to Hydro Cannon plus Moonblast there. It was Hydro Cannon into whatever it was to take it out. Moonblast into Metagross to chip at it. They were locked into Zen Headbutt, targeting down my Blastoise with Reflect Up. Turned out it was a 4-hit KO. Like, all right, perfect. I have time to actually recover from my Hydro Cannon, and then Hydro Cannon it, because Sun was up.
Oh, good.
So I had to stall out my own turns of Sun so I could Hydro Cannon to pick up the KO on Metagross.
Yeah.
It was adorable, and this team is a blast.
Pun intended.
Yes. Team, that was the game that pulled me into Ultra Ball this morning.
The team I played with this morning for laddering was really cool. Adam's team was a lot of fun. Being able to play with T-Tar and Spectre was a hoot. I never got to do the thing with it, which is Comfey T-Tar, Draining Kiss by T-Tar to proc my policy.
To be fair, the tournament that he played, he said he literally did it 0 times.
Yeah, you just don't need to do it. I literally, the 3 Pokemon everyone saw the entire video, Amoonguss, Spectre, T-Tar.
Like, okay.
I would bring a random fourth one. I think game 1 I brought Cartana. Game 2 I brought Rodom Heat because there was a Corviknight in the back.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is what I did. Game 1, I think my opponent timed out on their picks, so I got to just like
blow them up.
I had to figure out what they were doing. They had a G-Max Grimmsnarl, but they didn't Gigantamax it. They should have Gigantamaxed it because Spectre was sitting across from it and was just going to beat him up. But they didn't G-Max it. Instead, they G-Maxed this Garbodor in the very back. That was the very end. So yeah. I think that's probably going to be it for this episode.
I'm looking at
the
Draft
logos.
League logos.
That's scary.
Sweet's response is, "Oh my god, that's terrifying. I don't think I can sleep tonight."
That's scary. That's great because I get the reference, but that's scary.
This is what Jiggly and I came up with last night.
That's cute. I like that.
And Mafia was able to actually throw it together.
I need to come up with a better Tennessee Tynamos one.
Other than literally the state of Tennessee with a Tynamo sitting in it.
Either that or just go with a new look in general. One of the two.
So does Sweet get to keep the train conductor thing?
Until I get another one, probably, yeah.
Neat. So Sweet, start another one real quick. End the stream on another hype train.
Probably should get us out of here. It's going on 2 hours now.
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm waiting for the hype train to start again. You can't just end mid hype train. That's rude. Oh.
Evan's right there, though. It's going to be one of the toughest ones to qualify for. Probably because it's a refreshed meta, because I feel like the Players' Cup 2, it was easier to get in because everyone was Series 5. You'd keep the train regardless, because you'd be the conductor.
Yeah, if you start it, then you get to keep it. So you're saying if I go donate 4 subs real quick.
Probably could, yeah.
I could start my own hype train.
And then probably
get the golden present and the hype train away from...
Yeah, like bottom line is be comfortable with what you're playing for Players' Cup.
100%.
That's the big thing. That's why I've been trying to get myself focused on a team, but we haven't gotten that point yet. Yeah, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. I got
or at least sign the episode off so we can just like hang out for a little bit longer.
All right. So to all the audio listeners, make sure you go and follow us on YouTube. To all the YouTube listeners, now that all the audio listeners are over here too, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications when new stuff goes live every single day for the foreseeable future, because we're going to have a ton of Draft League stuff going up here too. Pound the like button and leave a comment down below saying if you had first overall pick in our drafts, what are you taking? I'm interested in some thoughts.
That's actually a really good question. I'm interested in seeing that.
Because if I had first overall, I'm really interested in like Calyrex Shadow. I think it has a lot of potential to be absolutely monstrous.
It's a lot of spread damage.
Not only that, but like being able to have Unnerve, just like shutting off random berries. Plus Grimnay is huge.
Oh yeah, like you get expanding
the fact
force.
that you get 2 abilities is stupid.
Expanding force, Astral Barrage, both spread moves, both stab. There's another spread move it gets. I think it gets access to something else. There's another spread move it gets, because the sets I was seeing for the GS Cup are expanding force, Astral Barrage. Whatever the other spread move is, and then protect or taunt or whatever you want it to be in that last slot.
Does it get snarl?
I believe it does.
Cool.
Yeah, like that's the big thing is you're weak. You're 4 times weak to dark.
Yeah, and you can't reasonably one shot like dark or Shafu.
Yeah,
because I don't think you get a fairy move. I doubt you get like Moonlight or Moonblast or Dazzle.
I don't think you get any of those.
Can't give him the old razzle dazzle.
The other thing is you're 4 times weak to ghost. So you're weak to opposing just plain
Yeah, multiple 4 times weaknesses is kind of rough.
Lunala's in that same boat.
Yeah. I think you have better options with Shadow Rider than Lunala, but having double 4 times weaknesses is definitely rough.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
My first overall pick would probably be Groudon, just because it's Groudon.
Do sun things?
Do sun things. It's easy to do sun things because there's so many things that can abuse sun. It's a good overall pick. It's bulky when it needs to be.
Slap an AV on it and call it a day.
Yeah, like it's not hard to figure out what to do with it. The other option there, overall pick, is probably is actually probably Rayquaza, because I know people are going to want to draft weather shenanigans, and Rayquaza just turns them all off.
If you do, I have a shiny.
Rayquaza's on my list. It's one of my scenarios. If Groudon and Kyogre go really, really early, Rayquaza's on my list of something I could grab.
The big thing with Rayquaza is you got to watch out for all the incidental ice coverage.
There's less of it because not every team has Lando. There's going to be less of it running around.
Yeah, but when they see Rayquaza in team preview, they're just like, all right, my Kyogre has Ice Beam for a reason. Bang.
You joke. I watched Ice Beam into I watched a Max Hailstorm into Rayquaza the other day. It did like 10%.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Snarl plus screens.
Oh.
Snarl's going to be real strong.
Does Rayquaza get Snarl?
No.
Okay. I was concerned.
The partners.
Okay.
Snarl's going to be strong.
Ground types are good.
Ground types are real good. Especially Groudon. Groudon's like, I'm going to reduce one of my weaknesses. I can hit my other weakness super effectively. Like, we have no problems here.
Yep. The big thing of like being able to set Sun to remove that water weakness is huge.
Like, removing the water weakness is good. Being able to hit grass, being able to hit ice super effectively is really good. Yeah, Groudon's probably my number one pick overall. Now I've said that, people are going to snipe it out from away from me.
Like, haha! I have come prepared.
Yeah, joke's on you. I have contingency.
So let's see. That's all the YouTube stuff. Make sure you go and follow us on Twitter. Thanks, the little banner just popped up.
Yeah.
At LR Lessons, Carl at musical_33, and myself at CardinalNoble25. If you're listening here on Twitch Live, go ahead and drop a like. If you go ahead and
drop a follow.
There we go. That one. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Leave a follow for Carl. If you really like what we see, go ahead and drop a sub over here as well. You can do all that over on my channel as well at Mr. Missouri 25. If you're new to the community, go ahead and join the community Discord. Our community is great. That's where you can find all of our random draft league and rumbles, and all that signups are always going to be in our Discord. Plus, we have so many people now that like the Discord is never quiet.
Yeah, I had to mute all of the notifications this morning while I was editing the video because it just kept bleep, 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 bleep. I'm like, nope, stop, please.
One of my buddies I was talking to last night, he's like, yeah, I'm in your server, but I can't check it ever, because if I do, then I'm going to get all the notifications again. And you all are on there literally thousands of messages a day. I'm like, yeah, that's probably about right.
That's what happens. It's a community server. There's 200 plus people on there. Yep. That's what happens when people have conversations.
Yep. Especially when you have multiple people involved in those conversations all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's it.
Yes. I believe that is it as well.
All right. I think I'm getting on out of here for the week, and I think Carl's was probably going to hang out for a minute. I don't know what you're doing.
We're going to probably wrap up the stream part here.
Okay. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Peace.